what she said. She's magical, mystical, a powerful wonder girl.
Books rarely make headlines, but we live in interesting times. Joining us now is Tracy Nesdally, the Vice President of Communications at Rakuten Kobo Inc. And today we're talking about new releases, which are being talked about and discussed not only around water coolers and over morning coffee, but in major media and social media where it seems we just can't get enough. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
We spoke in an earlier episode about Fire and Fury Inside the Trump White House by Michael Wolff, which set off a few Twitter storms by the sitting president. Now we have a higher loyalty, truth, lies, and leadership by James Comey.
Absolutely. Now, you will remember Mr. Comey was, that's an important distinction.
That would be.
the director of the FBI. And he was pretty famous for doing the investigation into Hillary Clinton's email habits. And he also touched on a bunch of stuff with Russia and so on, and all of that got him fired by President Trump. So, hell hath no fury. Mm-hmm. And he has now written a book about not only his life in the White House with Trump, but his life with two other presidents as well. He's talking about leadership and their styles and what goes on and all of that kind of thing. What he has to say about Barack Obama and Bush is nobody cares. It's all Trump, Trump, Trump. And he is making headlines for saying things like President Trump is a serial liar, or to use a Trump-esque kind of term, he's a very bad guy. Trump, meanwhile, isn't taking this sitting down, and he's tweeting that Comey is a slimeball, and I quote, and that Comey will go down in history as the worst FBI director ever in history and is not a smart man. So all this to say that reading about the book is almost as fun as reading the book itself. It's a page turner and an eye opener, even if you don't care about American politics. And just to give you a little sense of what it's going to, of what's inside, we have a little clip from the audio version.
Who am I to tell others what ethical leadership is? Anyone claiming to write a book about ethical leadership can come across as presumptuous, even sanctimonious. All the more so if that author happens to be someone who was quite memorably and publicly fired from his last job. I understand the impulse to think that any book written about one's life experience can be an exercise in vanity, which is why I long resisted the idea of writing a book of my own. But I changed my mind for an important reason. We are experiencing a dangerous time in our country, with a political environment where basic facts are disputed, fundamental truth is questioned, lying is normalized, and unethical behavior is ignored, excused, or rewarded. This is not just happening in our nation's capital, and not just in the United States. It is a troubling trend that has touched institutions across America and around the world.
Meanwhile, closer to home,
we suggest The Never-Ending Present, the story of Gord Downie and the Tragically Hip. It's a book by Michael Barclay. Now, it chronicles the making of several seminal Hip albums that Hip fans will know all about, but it also has lots and lots of backstage anecdotes about what went on tour and making of those records and so on. So it talks about how Gord Downie and the Hip hung out with Robert Plant or played pool with the Rolling Stones or other kinds of things like, I don't know, pick up hockey with some maple leaves, that sort of thing. Anyway, it's an amazing book. And if Trump is something quintessentially American, The Tragically Hip is quintessentially Canadian, perhaps understandable only to us, but nonetheless a riveting story.
Absolutely.
and we knew this was going to happen.
Well, exactly.
Andrew Morton, the biographer of Harry's mom, Princess Diana, has written a biography of none other than
Meghan Markle. So I know Andrew Morton rather well.
Do you?
I do. And
How do you know?
Oh, we won't even turn that.
Oh, later, baby.
This looks like a bottle of wine.
But nonetheless, I heard him quoted once as saying that the thing that, or what it was about her that so enticed Prince Harry was she had the Markle sparkle, and that's what bewitched Prince Harry, which everybody knows who he is. He's the fun one. So this book goes into who she is, how she captured the heart of Harry, a little bit about her background, her first marriage, her divorce, some skeletons in some closets, some other things in closets. All in all, it was a pretty great read, and it'll give you everything you need to know just ahead of the royal wedding.
Oh, excellent. I'm excited. I will be going on to
I've actually
our book
met
list.
her.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And she's lovely.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's absolutely lovely.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so great to hear.
Yeah.
Now, of course,
Happy
you can
for them.
You can find all the books mentioned today at kobo.com/what she said. That's where you'll find all our books with Buzz. Thank you for my new Aura H2O. I'm gonna be downloading tonight.
Wonderful.
Tracy, we will talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
Wonderful. Thank you.
What she said.